As I grew increasingly anxious, curling my hair, my eyes darted to the clock. Cassie, my roomie, lay sprawled on the bed as she scrolled through the reels.
Okay, how well do you know him?
She asked with a frown. I rolled my eyes, assuming she's just jealous. The Uber was downstairs waiting for me. It took me 20 minutes to reach the date location, a cozy cafe next to the highway. Once I stepped in, I saw Ryan in his black attire at the only empty table amidst a sea of couples in the cafe. I smiled, admiring his punctuality, a real rarity these days.
Did I keep you waiting?
I asked, but now I felt seated. No, just 30 days, 20 hours, and 5 minutes. We laughed out loud together, and right then and there, I knew I was going to have fun with this date. Conversation flowed easily. We laughed, flirted, and fed each other bites from our dishes. I was certain that if he invited me over to his place after dinner, I'd probably say yes. At around 9:30, Ryan excused himself to the bathroom. As he walked away, his handkerchief fell from his pocket. I bent to pick it up to return it, but somehow it didn't feel right. It felt heavier than I expected. Curiosity gnawed at me, and I unfolded it. My breath hitched in my throat. There was a shiny, sharp scalpel wrapped in it. Dried blood was still stuck to the blade. My body went right into the shutdown mode. Suddenly, Cassie's worries echoed in my mind. I must get out of here soon. Before Ryan could come back, I forced my face into a neutral expression. I slipped the handkerchief into my purse and steadied my hands. Ryan returned with a smile on his handsome face that didn't feel handsome anymore. All okay? He asked, scanning me. I nodded, forcing a smile.
Yeah, just checking my phone.
I pretended to eat, desperate not to raise suspicion. How about we go to my place for a couple of drinks? He suggested.
Oh, actually, my roommate just called. She's sick. I'm sorry, but we have to call it a night.
Ryan's expression shifted. His eyes darkened. Slowly, he picked up the fork from my plate. I noticed how he gripped it like a knife. Then, out of nowhere, he flattened his free hand against the table and began playing five-finger fillet. He was stabbing the fork between his fingers at an alarming speed. With every stab, his face turned scarier, nostrils flaring. The cafe's noise blurred into the background as I homed in on his rapid, erratic movements. The sound of metal against wood matched the racing rhythm of my heart.
Ryan?
My voice was barely above a whisper.
What are you doing?
He didn't answer. The fork struck faster. Stop, stop, stop.
Ryan, stop it! It's not funny!
His breathing grew heavier. Then, suddenly, his bloodshot eyes locked onto mine. A muscle in his face twitched. His pupils were dilated, wild. Still maintaining eye contact, he continued stabbing with inhuman precision. The tension coiled inside me, suffocating. I couldn't watch it anymore. It felt like any point he will stab his hand, resulting into a bloody mess.
If you don't stop, I'm going to scream!
I warned. He froze. A bead of blood pooled at the tip of his index finger. Yet, he didn't even flinch. His lips curled into a chilling smirk. I thought we'd get to spend more time tonight, he murmured. I swallowed hard.
Well, we'll have to do that some other time.
Ryan glanced around, realizing people at a nearby table were watching. He slipped the fork back onto the plate and sucked the blood from his finger. Then he gestured for the check. I wanted to offer to pay my half, but I couldn't bring myself to speak to him. 5 minutes later, we stepped outside. I muttered a quick goodbye and turned to leave, but before I could take a step, Ryan grabbed my wrist and yanked me toward him. Any other time, it would have been a scene from a romantic movie, but now, it sent shiver through my veins. I thought you liked me, Laura, he said, in an eerily soft voice.
Of course I do.
I forced out, trying my best not to challenge him to go more psycho. His grip tightened, my pulse hammered.
How about I call you tomorrow, huh?
He didn't reply, just stood there, breathing heavily, his eyes wild and unblinking. His grasp was unrelenting, as if he was debating something in his head. Then, without warning, he shoved me. He pushed me so hard that I lost control. I stumbled, barely catching myself before crashing onto the pavement. My knees scraped against the concrete. Searing pain shot through my legs. Blood seeped through my torn jeans. And then, he spat on me. Yes, he spat on me like I was some ugly sewage rat he's no longer interested in trapping. In a low, venomous whisper, he said something I'll never forget. When they find you, if they find you, you'll be unrecognizable. Best of luck, Laura. He turned around and went away. I saw him walking away, still frozen in place, my body trembling with my heart pounding so hard it hurt. One of the cafe workers who was taking out the trash saw me hunched up on the pavement and hurried over to me. He made a call to 911. The police drove me home, and I told them every little detail I could remember about Ryan, only to find out his Tinder account had been deleted. No one was able to track him down. Cassie and I went into a new apartment. I carry a taser and a can of mace for just in case. It's been a month to this first date, but I still get anxious around strangers. My trust issues are sky high, and I feel like locking myself in a room and never come out. I was enjoying the free booze standing near the bar counter. This was the third office party in the last 6 months. These are the only days I don't regret working for my boss. All my coworkers were grooving at the dance floor. The party was in full swing when I spotted this woman standing alone in the corner. She was gorgeous, tall, elegant, maybe a little older than me. Yet something was off. People kept their distance from her. When she approached a group, they'd stiffen, make excuses, and scatter away. It wasn't normal. It wasn't right. I watched her exhale with a sad face, then going to the rooftop balcony. I felt bad for her, so I grabbed 2 drinks and went to her. You don't seem like the party type. She turned, a slow smile spreading across her lips.
Neither do you.
We hit it off right away. She was charming and funny, but there was something about her glare that made me think she could see inside of me. About an hour later, I asked if she would like to come over for a drink. Her eyes lit up.
I would love to.
My apartment was small, but cozy. Julia made herself at home in no time. She kicked off her heels and threw herself onto my couch, as if she'd lived here for years. I poured the wine and we sat next to her.
So, is this our first date?
She asked, smirking over the rim of her glass. I laughed, feeling a little shy. Would it be wrong if it was? She leaned in.
Not at all.
It was perfect, until my phone rang. It was my sister. I answered casually. Hey. Yeah, just with a friend. Nothing serious. The moment I hung up, the air changed. Julia wasn't smiling anymore. She was staring at me, her wine glass clutched tightly in her fingers.
Who was that?
My sister. I frowned. She checks up on me a lot. Her voice was eerily calm.
So I'm just a friend, huh?
I chuckled nervously. I mean, we just met. Her grip on the glass tightened.
But you just said it's our first date. Why did you lie then?
What? Her breathing turned erratic.
You men are all the same. You use words like friend to keep us at a distance. Like I don't matter. Like I'm disposable.
I stood up, suddenly uneasy. Julia, what are you talking about? Her eyes darkened.
My ex said the same thing. Before I burned his lying mouth shut.
I stared at her. Excuse me? She giggled. High, sharp, wrong.
You know, I was in a mental institution for a whole year after that incident. They let me out last month. Said I was stable now. But I know a liar when I see one, Boris.
My stomach turned to ice. I moved toward the door. I think you should leave. Julia tilted her head, her smile too wide, too forced.
Why?
I swallowed hard, because this is getting weird. Her eyes gleamed.
You're scared of me, aren't you?
I didn't answer. She stood, slowly grinning.
You should be.
I got up because a red alarm had already started to go off in my mind. I rushed to the door. Suddenly, Julia lunged, shoving me back with unnatural strength. I slammed against the wall, hitting my head. Ah! Yet I crawled quickly to the kitchen to get a knife. She laughed like a maniac while following behind. Her voice growled as she asked, flaunting her wide, creepy eyes.
Why are you making this difficult for us?
I was panting and shivering. Clutching the knife, I turned back to her. Stay back, Julia, or I'll use this! She smiled.
That's funny. He tried that too.
She jumped at clawing her hands like an apex predator. Her nails were sharp like razor blades. I swung the knife at her, but she was faster. She grabbed my wrist, dug her nails so deep into my skin that blood dripped onto my kitchen floor. My grip loosened, and I dropped the knife, screaming in pain. She pinned me against the counter, her breath hot against my face.
You don't want me anymore, do you?
Her teeth gritted as she spoke, her eyes burning with hatred. I pushed her away with all my strength. She stumbled back but didn't stop. She grabbed the fallen knife and charged. I barely caught her wrist in time. My muscles burned as I pulled all my strength in stopping her from stabbing me in the eye. I could see the tip of the knife shining inches away from my eyeball. She was breathing and growling, trying her best to make me blind forever. I was resisting hard. Are you out of your mind? She still kept pushing. I could feel my body giving up to her madness. I was losing. How do I get out of this? I'm no karate kid. When the tip of the knife was just a second away from slashing my eyeball like cake, I slammed my forehead into her face. A crunching noise followed by her shrill scream took place. I broke her nose. I didn't wait. I grabbed the closest thing, the wine bottle on the kitchen countertop, and smashed it against her temple. She crumpled to the floor, motionless. My heart pounded. I grabbed my keys, bolted out of the apartment, and ran. Hours later, I came back with the cops. I even called a few of co-workers because by then I guessed why everyone was avoiding her at the party. They all spoke in my behalf. My apartment was searched, but Julia was gone. The cops called, investigated on her, and found the address of the mental institution. They told how she was the most violent patient under their care, but last few months she changed drastically, which is why they thought she has recovered. I'm stunned how good she was in faking normalcy. I've shifted somewhere else. The cops are still looking for her. I just pray they catch her before she ends up at my doorstep again. Hi, I'm Shelley, and I used to be into married men. Well, I was, until last month. That's when everything changed. Logan and I met on Tinder. After a few days of flirtatious texts, he asked me out on a date. I agreed. He seemed fun, and to be honest, I liked the thrill of it. That night, I wore my new red dress, the kind that shows just enough to tease, but not enough to give everything away. For safety, I put on a blonde wig, just in case. When I arrived at the restaurant, it was around 8:30 p.m. Logan was already outside, waiting for me. He was okay, I guess. Slightly balding at the top, but he was dressed in an expensive suit and had a Rolex on his wrist. He definitely looked like he had money to spend. The moment he saw me, he smirked like a dog who just found a steak. Damn, you're hot. I flipped my hair and smirked back.
I know.
We took a table in the corner, and from the second we sat down, Logan's eyes were all over me. What a perv. I twirled a strand of my wig between my fingers and teased.
So, does your wife know you're here?
He chuckled nervously. Pray to God she doesn't, otherwise she'll kill me. I laughed.
That's scary, huh?
He nodded, still smiling. You would know if you ever met her. The night went on, expensive dishes, glass after glass of champagne, and endless compliments, though 90% of them were about my body. I let him look, let him admire. That's how this works. Toying with these guys, letting them spend their money on me. That was my thing. About 40 minutes passed and we were finishing up. The restaurant was almost empty, just a few other people scattered at their tables. Logan pulled out his wallet to pay the bill. I was sipping my last bit of champagne when a blood-curdling scream shattered the air.
Logan! You dog! I knew you weren't in some damn office meeting!
The restaurant went dead silent. Logan's face drained of color. If fear had a face, he was wearing it. No, but listen, I can explain!
I don't need your damn explanation!
Before I could even react, she yanked the tablecloth, sending everything, plates, glasses, silverware, crashing to the floor. I shot up from my chair.
What the hell is wrong with you?
That's when she turned to me, her piercing green eyes locked onto mine, and I swear, for a second, I forgot how to breathe. She clenched her jaw so tight, bubbles of spit gathered at the corners of her mouth. Then she sneered.
So this is the little witch you're wasting your money on?
Logan barely got the words out. Gilda, please, let's just go home. But Gilda wasn't listening. She bent down, picked up a dinner plate, one of the few that hadn't broken, and smashed it straight over Logan's head. Blood instantly spurted from his forehead. I understood why Logan was so scared of her. People screamed. A couple of them ran for the exit. Someone was yelling at the manager to call 911. I started backing away, but before I could turn, Gilda grabbed my wrist. Her grip was ironclad.
You think it's funny breaking up someone's home? Let me go!
I yelled, trying to rip my arm away. Then, bam! Her fist landed on my face so hard my head spun. A sharp pain exploded through my eyes as I hit the floor. She punched me. She actually punched me. Tears streamed down my eyes. I gasped, trying to claw backward, but she was already on me. She grabbed my leg and dragged me across the restaurant floor. I screamed.
Somebody help! She's going to kill me!
The manager was on the phone with the cops already, but Gilda didn't care. She pulled me into the kitchen. The staff had already fled. It was just us now. She locked the door. I knew then I was screwed. I scrambled backward, my back hitting the cold metal counter. My hands shook.
Gilda, please! I'm sorry, okay? I'll never see another married man again, I swear!
Her lips curled into a slow, sinister smile. Then she glanced at the deep fryer. My stomach dropped. Before I could react, she lunged, her hands wrapped around my neck, shoving me toward the fryer. I screamed. I fought like hell. My hands found the countertop, pushing back with every drop of strength I had in my body. But she was so strong. The bubbling oil popped and hissed inches from my face. Steam curled up, turning my skin red. I felt it. The heat, the burn. My sister's warnings rang in my head. God, she was right.
Gilda, please! I don't want to die!
I cried my lungs out, but Gilda laughed. She laughed at my misery.
Twig bitches like you think they can get any man they want. Well, guess what? It's time for a new face, beautiful.
She kept pushing me, and my face daunted closer to the boiling oil. Hot smoke left blisters on my face. I knew soon I'll meet a horrifying, painful end. If I still manage to survive, I'll have a life of trauma and disfigurement. My hands started to give in. My rig hung barely.
Gilda, please! No!
I was tired and knew any time I'll be submerged in this boiling lava. I imagined how it'll be when my eyebrows, lips, nose all end up like fried chicken wings. Gilda's laughter and grunting noises slowly started to fade away. Only the burning smoke from the fryer devoured me bit by bit. My vision began to blur. My nose almost touched the boiling oil. A sprinkle of it burnt the tip of my nose. I screamed and screamed till I couldn't anymore. It was time to accept my fate. Just when I thought I'm done, I heard the kitchen door break down, followed by a gunshot. I fainted on the floor. I woke up in the hospital 2 days later. The cops rescued me by shooting Gilda on the leg. She was taken into custody and later sentenced to prison for the charges of attempted murder. I'm living with my sister now, trying my best to put everything behind. I don't go on dates anymore. I can't stand fried food or any kind of oil on my body. I'm traumatized for life.